very first video game was called Solar Eclipse. It was about it was one of the very first video games ever in the early 1990s. I mean that I ever even heard of, besides the Mario Brothers and Pac-Mans. And it had actually not motion capture but live action in it. I don't think anybody ever played it. Very few people.
That comes to my next question. Since it's a lot of ground to cover through the history of video games and the technological steps that video games made, how did you experience this from your first voice acting roles to your last ones?
It didn't affect me at all because I still do the same thing, basically. I mean, unless I'm doing motion capture. I did mocap for Call of Duty and for Solar Eclipse, obviously. It wasn't mocap, but it was live action. But other than that, everything is in a sound booth, just me in a recording booth doing the lines. Sometimes I get reference material, sometimes I don't. So sometimes I don't even know what the character looks like, or if it's a dragon or a toad or a pirate, I have no idea. But the actual act of performing in a video game doesn't change for me, even if the technology changes.
You already mentioned in the press conference that you don't play video games yourself. Was there never an urge to try it out? I mean, seeing yourself?
Yes, absolutely there's an urge, especially when I started hearing from people that they really loved Skyrim, and I played 12 or 13 characters in that game, so I thought, and then I saw it on YouTube, some of the world, and it was just beautiful. I just didn't have the patience to try it. I guess that's kind of a stupid excuse, but I just it was a commitment that I didn't think I would take. I'd rather work on the games than play the games.
Skyrim and Fallout is a good point. My next question would be: you worked with a lot of big names in this game. So how was it working with them? Did you interact with them at all, or? No,
I wish. No, I mean I've done games with all these amazing actors, but no, we don't work together. There was only one video game I did in my entire life where they had a couple of us in the room, but that was just to play a group of animals, so we had to be together. Other than that, all of the dozens of games I've done have been me solo, alone, in the booth.
Is there one voice acting performance you're really proud of? Your proudest moment for yourself, or?
I love Blood of Zeus. I love playing Hera. I think she's a great character. That's an anime series, but it's still voiceover work. And I really liked playing Helga Sinclair in the Disney movie Atlantis. I think I'm very proud of that because she was almost like two separate characters. It was the kick-ass sort of military Helga, and then the very sultry undercover Helga. So that was a lot of fun. I liked that.
Were there any instances where you went through the casting for a role and it didn't work out? Like you didn't like it there, or the show got cancelled or something like that?
The only time that I had a weird thing in a casting was they didn't tell us what the game was going to be. And I got the job, and I went to do the job, and it ended up being a very violent, just a very violent game that I didn't really want my name on, because it was very demeaning to women, and it was just not a good game. So that's the only time in my life I've had any issue. Other than that, when you audition, you pretty much audition in your home studio, and then you find out if you get the job, and you do the job. It's that easy.
When you compare doing your roles back in the day and to now, or your last roles, what's changed the most for you?
Nothing really. I mean, what's changed is now I've done World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2 for over a decade. So clearly, it's something that's sort of part of you at this point. A lot of other games I'd pop in and I'll do a day or two, but those two roles that I play are pretty seminal because they've been taking up a long period of my life.
You also have your own comic.
Dark Legacies, yeah.
How did that happen?
During the pandemic, I spoke with the wonderful writer Chris McCauley, and we decided that it would be wonderful to have a comic book series that would expand into a world, one where the characters were complex and fallible, and we could use some of our favorite actors for their likenesses from Star Trek and Babylon 5, and use our friends in it as characters. And we came up with this idea, and I wanted to play another, strong female role representative of that. So we created Jessica Steele, and now we have games coming out. So we'll be across platforms next year in a Dark Legacies game.
People are often scared of the range of some voice actors, like Charles Martinet for Super Mario. He can do voices for Mario, but also for Skyrim, Dragons. What would you say is your craziest range?
Well, I do a lot of accent work, which people probably don't know, but I do, like, Call of Duty was British, and I've done a lot of Eastern European work, and I do a lot of strange, ghoulish voices, which probably people wouldn't recognize. So I would say that's the extent of my range. Is just various characters, pirate voices and things. I do a little bit of everything. I think you probably wouldn't recognize my voice in some of the things that I've done.
Okay, as final question, what would you recommend people starting out in acting and voice acting to find the inner voice or the acting voice?
Well, I think you need to really have a unique voice and be able to bring characters to life with only your voice. That's the key of it. You have to be able to display emotion and strength through your voice. You won't be able to have the facial expressions, and so it's important to be able to do that. But I think if anybody has a unique voice, they should also work on maybe having 3 or 4 different unique voices so that they have flexibility. Because when you get into a job, quite often they'll say, they hire you for one voice, but they're allowed to use you for 2 or 3 more. So you've got to have something up your sleeve. If they say, oh, we have a dragon character, it's got 5 lines, you need to play it. Well, you have to have some voices that are really good and tight and strong that you can pull out and say, I can use this one, and then they go, oh yeah, I love that. So for me, I have very old ladies and very young ladies and very, middle. I can go up higher for younger, and so you have to have that ready. That's what I would recommend, is have those ready and really, really tight.
Thanks
You're
for taking the
welcome.
time. It was great.
Very nice meeting you. Thank you.